Top 10 reasons why Donald Trump is hated. Some people love him and others hate him. But at the end of the day, this video is not meant to change your mind about how you feel about Donald Trump. In this video, we will try to be as unbiased and objective as possible. Now let's get started. Number 10. Trump challenged the media. Regardless of what side of the aisle you vote, no one can deny the power of the news media. Donald Trump went from being loved by the media to hated by them overnight. During many interviews prior to him running for president, Trump was a media darling. Once his intentions were made clear and he announced his candidacy for president in 2015, that all slowly started to change. In his lifetime, everything he had touched was not a success, but throughout his years in business, he learned the power of the media. Although the media once loved him, it became more profitable for many news outlets to side against him to increase their revenue and ratings. He would call them out repeatedly and coin catchphrases such as fake news and the enemy of the people, which caught on with his base and made many people question the mainstream media. Number 9. Trump put Hollywood on edge. The amount of power Hollywood has on a national and global level is immeasurable. Hollywood has the power not only to change a person's life, but to change entire cultures as they see fit. Many Americans started to see Donald Trump as the voice that represented the heart of America during his run for president. And the change that someone like Trump could cause would not be tolerated. Regardless of how you view Trump, his 2016 victory upset the order of many industries, and Hollywood was one of those industries. So many celebrities of all walks of life came out against Donald Trump almost immediately. Some of these same Hollywood celebrities had once been close to him and/or called him a friend. None of this mattered because the agenda had already been set, and they had already painted a huge target on Trump's back. If you were not calling out, bashing, or trying to cancel Donald Trump, then your loyalty and future in Hollywood was questioned. Number 8. Trump was a wild card. Few things are worse than competing against someone who you cannot predict what they will do next. Donald Trump was one of those people. Whether it was him saying something outlandish or saying something factual, you never knew what he would do. This gave many of his political opponents and detractors consistent ammunition, which he would often use to his advantage to stay in the headlines. His presence as a wild card not only gave him nationwide attention, but also attention on a global scale. This ultimately led to him having a huge advantage against all of his rivals. These tactics gave him over $2 billion in free coverage from the mainstream media and other sources during his run for president. Number 7. Trump made colleges uncomfortable. Colleges and universities all over the country instantly took a stance against Donald Trump once he began his run for office. It is no secret that most U.S. colleges have become political and left-leaning. Most colleges in the United States no longer teach you how to think, but indoctrinate many on what to think. Donald Trump's strong stance rallied many students and staff either with him or against him almost immediately, which turned college campuses and universities into political battlegrounds. This eventually led to open protests at many left-leaning colleges and universities against conservative students, who began to finally speak out. Number 6. Trump called out both sides. Many people remember the many times Donald Trump called out Democrat politicians, but Trump was no stranger to calling out members of his own party as well, and it became clearer that he would not make many political friends during his run for office. He ran on several political slogans like "Drain the Swamp," which was not only meant for Democrats, but Republicans as well. From embarrassing Jeb Bush to destroying Hillary Clinton, no one was off limits. He made it clear that he was playing to win and was not to be underestimated. This in turn made politicians, both Democrats and Republicans, turn their sights on him. Leave us a like or comment letting us know what your thoughts, good or bad, are of Donald Trump. Number 5. Trump called out our allies. The United States has many allies all over the world that we have friendships with based upon mutual interests and agreements. Many prior presidents have made statements asking our allies to pull their own weight, which would allow the United States to pull back its resources. Trump stated that NATO members must finally contribute their fair share and meet their financial obligations. Even though this was true, it was the first time a U.S. president had taken such a direct approach to addressing these issues. Donald Trump would go on to make several other predictions about European countries being too dependent on Russia for oil and gas, but he was laughed at by them. These bold but true statements shook up global relations between the United States and many of its allies. Number 4. Trump called out China. Regardless of who has been president over the last several decades, China has always been a point of contention. But no president before or since has called out China to the levels that former President Trump did. He called out China for stealing United States technologies. He called out China for being the biggest environmental polluter. He called out China in regards to their unfair trade practices. He called out China on spying. He called out China on the pandemic and many other issues. Unlike former presidents who may have called him out behind closed doors, Trump called him out on the world stage. This set a tone and a hard line between the United States and China. Despite how true some of his statements were about China, it led to many companies turning against Trump, since most American companies have some or all of their products made in China. These actions were seen by some as being unpresidential and by others as him standing up for America. Number 3. Trump put America's interests above other countries. One of the many slogans that stuck with the media and with his political base was America First and Make America Great Again. These slogans rallied many of his supporters and built a loyal following of millions of people that still stands with him today. Trump said he wanted to bring jobs back to the United States and make the country less dependent on other nations. This extended to many aspects of the U.S., including renegotiating trade with other nations, rebuilding the American workforce, maintaining a strong military, bolstering oil and gas, and bettering the education system, to name a few. Number 2. Trump changed politics forever. Since his election in 2016, politics in the United States has changed in ways that some love and others hate. Many politicians have tried to emulate Donald Trump in some way after seeing his unprecedented success. Some say that the country has never been more divided since Trump's election to office. On the other side of the aisle, many would say that the division is caused by the media, since they profit off the division. One thing that is certain is that politics has never been more polarizing in the United States. We're living in a time where the tension between the left and right are at an all-time high, with neither side giving an inch. Number 1. Trump wasn't supposed to win. When Trump won in 2016, it shocked the world. He had done the impossible, and many people were heartbroken, angry, and bitter to their very core. The media, celebrities, experts, politicians, and billionaires said that Trump would never win. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and other big tech companies had all placed their bets on Hillary Clinton. They had set the tone that the United States was on the verge of having its first female president, Hillary Clinton. This was a mistake, and it set many voters' expectations and caused them to underestimate the opposition. Despite the efforts of news outlets, politicians, celebrities, Facebook, Twitter, and many others, Donald Trump had done the so-called impossible.